everybody wants to work from home. And it's really tempting. And you see all these ads around that say work from home, work from home. But a lot of them are actually not so legitimate. So how do you find a legitimate work from home job?
Yeah, here's the first rule. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So when you see those posters on the telephone poles that say earn $500 a week, no experience needed, call this number, your antenna ought to go up. But let's talk about, how can you find something that's really a good quality work from home job? The first thing I always recommend that people do is start off by just networking locally. There are so many people these days who have small businesses or their own businesses, and they would love to hire somebody to do their bookkeeping or to do their medical transcription for them, or maybe to do some translation services. So start by networking locally.
And some of it depends, though, on what their skill set is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you can do transcriptions or freelance writing or things like that, those are very portable and transportable.
Yeah, and to that point, I think that no matter what your skill set is, you have to recognize that most work from home jobs are things that you can do using a computer. So it tends to be things like people that do sales, recruiting, translation, writing services, copy editing, proofreading, all of those types of things that really just require a computer and or a telephone line. If you're somebody who is a manager, that's going to be a lot harder to do working from home. So you really need to think about what skills do you have that lend themselves to that type of work. So in addition to networking among friends and locally, is think about approaching small businesses in the area. Again, a lot of them are working on very tight budgets. They may not even have the space in their office to hire people, and so they would love to hire people to work for them from home. And I should clarify here, when I say hire, in a lot of these cases, you are not going to get hired for a full-time job. It's more project type work that you're going to be able to land.
And in these cases, though, is it best to go direct to the companies, or again, can you go through temp agencies?
Temp agencies in general these days, most of that tends to be assignments where you actually go to an office environment. Not all of it, but most of it is that you go to an office environment. That said, there are some pretty good job boards out there where you can look for work from home opportunities. Two that I think are well worth your time. The first is called Flex Jobs, and Flex Jobs, you do have to pay a small monthly fee to join that. I followed them for years. They really do have good quality listings. Another site is ratracerebellion.com.
Nice
love that
name.
Yeah, love the name. And what they do is they actually have a newsletter that comes out. I believe it's a daily newsletter. It's free. They do a lot of work with these customer service type jobs that, you call Land's End and the person who's taking your order.
Yep. Those are great work from home jobs.
Yep. So using services like that, and then you can go to some of the really large job boards and put in work from home as a search filter. But when you do that, just be careful because you want to avoid these, scammy type listings. So those are some of the ways that you can find those types of jobs.
In general, so when you go to some of these job boards and if something shows up as a work from home, is another screen on it if it's a company you've heard of, if it's a larger company that you're aware of, versus something you have no idea, you can't get any information on, you can't find anyone connected to them, then you might want to stay away.
Absolutely. And you really, you have to be very, very careful because there are a lot of scams out there. And you don't want to get into a situation where, you apply for something that is non-existent. And please, whatever you do, never give over any personal information, things like your bank account. Sometimes they will say, oh, well, it's just that we're going to be wiring some funds. We need to have that information. Huge red flag.
No social, no date of birth even,
right?
Perhaps early on.
Yeah, any of that personal information. But, all of those job boards and job listings are great if you can find them. Just bear in mind that when you search those listings, it's you and millions of other people are looking at them. And that's why I really prefer sticking with the networking, think local. There are going to be people who will be happy to hear from you.
All right. Great advice, Nancy Colomer. Thank you.
You're welcome.